Adaptive expectation hypothesis. In this hypothesis of adaptive expectation, this hypothesis is introduced by Schwager 1956. In this hypothesis, the individual used past forecasting error to revise current expectation. There is some assumption that the variable price level is incorporate of two parts. One is actual price and other is expected price. Other thing is that there is the term that adjustment of our error in the previous forecasting. That means the adjustment for our errors depends on previous forecasting. So the hypothesis of the adaptive expectation, that is expectation of the current period, it depends upon the previous year. So uh, expectation xte, this period expectation minus xt minus 1e, uh, subtract the previous period expectation, is equal to lambda. Lambda is a parameter value in between 0 and 1 multiplied with expected value of t minus 1 period actual value minus expected value. So x t minus 1, that is actual value, minus x t minus 1 expected value. Having forecasting the expected value of t minus 1th period depends upon t minus 2th period information. So the end period for t minus 1th period expectation depends upon t minus 2th period information, that individual examining how well that forecast predicted the actual value. And then expected value of t minus 1th period minus expected value of t minus 2th periods uh, is equal to the parameter lambda into actual value of x t minus 2 and x minus expected value of, sorry, uh, minus sign is forget to mention. So actual value of t minus 2th period minus expected value of t minus 2th period. So actual value and expected value difference, that's multiplied with the value lambda. And similarly the expected value of t minus 2th periods is depends upon it depends upon t minus 3th period information minus expected value of t minus 3th period information depends upon the value of t minus the information of t minus 4th period information, that is equal to exactly equal to lambda multiplied with actual value of t minus 3th period minus expected value of t minus 3th period. That the equations are putting a name, that is 1 2 and 3. Revising this forecast one period lag from equation 1, we are getting that expected value of current period, it depends upon previous period, that means t minus 1 is equal to expected value of t minus 1th period, that is actual value of t minus 1th period, this term, sorry, this is actual value and this is expected value of t minus 2th period. From equation 2 we get similarly that expected value of t minus 1th period, it's exactly equal to actual value of t minus 2th period plus actual expected value of t minus 3th period, expected value of t minus 2th period. From equation 3 we are getting that the from equation 3 that expected value of t minus 2th period depends upon the t minus 3th period information is exactly equal to the actual value of t minus 3th period plus the expected value of uh, t minus 3th period information. So the expectation of the previous period depends upon the previous period, and previous period depends upon um, that previous period information that will continue. So substituting above equations and we get that the expected value of tth period depends upon t minus 1, that is equal to lambda square bracket x t minus 1, that means actual value of t minus 1th period, 1 minus lambda, that means actual value of t minus 2th period information, 1 minus lambda square x t minus 3, that means actual value of t minus 3th period information. Mm, Ultimately expected value of this period information is equal to lambda x t minus 1 plus 1 minus lambda x t minus 2 and 1 minus lambda power n plus 1 minus lambda n plus 1 expected value of e t minus n minus 2. Here n in its time period n tends to infinity, that means we are moving towards the previous period, and the value 1 minus lambda n plus 1 gets smaller because the expectation of the current period depends upon the previous period, but if we move n tends to infinity, uh, our information from the previous already forget. That is why the value 1 minus lambda n plus 1 gets smaller. So the adaptive expectation hypothesis emphasizes that the behavioral rule it's really an attention that current expectation xte are based on weightage average of the past actual value of x. If our economy has been in static equilibrium, that means there is no change in time is constant for a sufficient time, the value of x become unchanged, and that will show in the next equation that expected value of tth period is equal to lambda square bracket 1 plus 1 minus lambda plus that will continue multiplied with x and use the equation lambda, the formula of this part is lambda by 1 minus 1 minus lambda into x, and ultimately the value will be the value is x, the answer is x. In this case individual forming adaptive expectation will eventually to interpret to interpret intuitively same as the actual value, that means expected value is equal to actual value, that means x. But if the economy is not in static equilibrium, adaptive expectation hypothesis allow individual to learn from previous forecasting error. That means if economy is not static, then individual learn from the forecasting error.